Welcome everybody to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. It's another Stacking Saturday. Let's get it. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as Bitcoin stalls just below $27,000. I'm also going to be sharing with you a target of $180,000 for October 2025, according to the Stochastic Momentum Index. Also, quoting Max Kaiser, Bitcoin is unconfiscatable. No amount of violence can confiscate your Bitcoin. This disincentivizes violence for all of humanity. Bitcoin monetizes peace. Look at El Salvador. After making Bitcoin legal tender, they went from the most violent to the least violent country in the hemisphere. Facts. Also, breaking news. Ferrari to accept crypto payments in the United States and Europe. And that includes Bitcoin and Ethereum. Also in today's show, secret Alameda recording reveals the exact moment their staff learned about the FTX deposits. I'll be breaking this down for you, as well as the SEC will not appeal the court decision on Grayscale Bitcoin ETF. Another massive L for Gary Gensler and the SEC. That's right. Also in today's show, crypto analyst says it's inevitable. Bitcoin will soar by over 150%, reaching a new all-time high. I'll be breaking down his latest outlook, as well as the latest from Cathie Wood in a brand new interview she did with Natalie Brunell on the Coin Stories podcast on how Ark Invest reached their Bitcoin price predictions of a bear case scenario of 258,000 per Bitcoin, the bull case of 682,000, and that was the base case. The base case was 682, with the bull case being roughly $1.5 million per BTC. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button, as it helps out tremendously. And of course, smash that like button. I appreciate everyone's continued support. Welcome everyone. This is pod episode number, 1431. Wild, isn't it? Today is October 14th, 2023, and it's another Stacking Saturday. So let's kick off today's show with our market watch, as we do each and every day. Checking it out right here, checking out Coin360, and massive shout out to everyone in the live chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from, as this is a live and interactive show. The entire crypto market back in the green, definitely a bullish omen. We love to see. We got Ether trading back above $1,550. We got Bitcoin on the cusp of reclaiming $27,000, along with the rest of the market pumping. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com, we're sitting at 1.05 trillion as far as the market cap, with roughly 17 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance at 49.9%, and the Ether dominance not looking so strong. It's actually been on the decline for quite some time, currently at 17.8%, the lowest I have seen it in a very long time. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers of the past 24 hours, we got Loom up 33%, trading at 35 cents, followed by Rocket Pool up 15%, trading at $20, followed by the Trust Wallet token up 9%, trading at $1.04. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, Loom is looming, leading the pack on the weekly chart, trading, it's up 31% for the gain, which is pretty massive, as well as RPL up roughly 15%, along with the Trust Wallet token up just above 9% on the week. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a 47, which is neutral. Yesterday was a 44 in fear. Last week, a 49. And last month, a 45 in fear. So there you have it. Fam, how's your weekend treating you thus far? It's a gloomy day here in Puerto Rico. The rain is out. But let me know where you're tuning in from. I appreciate all the support. Now let's dive into our Bitcoin technical analysis, as we do each and every day. Shout out to Chris, $0 G Row, Glenn T, what it do, Paul P, DCA Bitcoin No Alts, McLovin, Digital Dankness. Good to see you, fam. Glenn T, Squirrel Bait, Phil C. Yes, Mikey likes it. Felix Hopkins. Good to see you all. Appreciate the support. All right, now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis. Shall we? Here we go. Bitcoin's price try to take over to the 27,000 level. We're on the cusp of reclaiming it at this moment in the past 24 hours, but the bears did not allow it, and the asset remains just inches below that line. While most of the altcoins are with minor 24-hour gains after the recent price plunges, with XDC becoming a top performer. So let's specifically break down BTC. It was less than a week ago last Sunday when Bitcoin was trading a lot higher, sitting above 28,000. However, the Israel-Hamas conflict played its part in starting a gradual decline in the crypto market, along with the Bitcoin price action. The asset began losing value with the start of the new business week, which culminated on Wednesday with a massive drop to 26,500. This became its lowest price point for the past 2 weeks. Nevertheless, the Bitcoin bulls tried to recover some ground and pushed it back up to 27,000 a few hours ago. That's thanks to the positive news with the SEC taking another L, which we'll get into a little later in the show. However, Bitcoin failed to continue upwards and has retraced by a few $100s since then. So being stuck below 27,000 means that its market cap still stands at 525 billion, while its dominance over the alts is just inches away from 50%, as according to CoinMarketCap, we're currently at 49.9%. We may be at 50% before the end of the show. Now let's dive into some of the technicals, because I don't want to focus too heavily on the alts. We know the alts are all climbing with very modest gains for the day. So let's check out these technicals on the daily charts. Right now, the sell signals, there's 14 with 9 neutral and 3 buy signals. Now, as far as the oscillators are concerned, there's 2 sell signals for Bitcoin, 8 neutral and 1 buy. The 1 buy signal is the Williams percentage range. And then for the moving averages, there's 12 sell signals, 1 neutral and 2 buy, with the 2 buy signals being the simple moving average as well as the whole moving average. Now, my 2 Satoshis on the charts, whatever the consensus the majority of the people are thinking in the market, I tend to think the opposite is going to happen, meaning if there is a massive amount of sell signals, I'm typically buying that dip. How many of you would agree? But let me know your thoughts of where you stand right now on the King Crypto. Do you feel it's likely to continue marching north or south at this current time with all the economic drama in the world happening in real time? And with that being shared, now I actually want to share with you a target shared by Titan of Crypto. Here's what he says. Bitcoin's next cycle top in October 2025. I say that's a good guess, as typically the cycle peak is the year after the halving. We all know the Bitcoin halving scheduled to be in roughly 6 months in April of 2024. So here's what he has to say. You might want to bookmark this one. According to the SMI MFI, Bitcoin still has room to go up this cycle. Preach. A projection of the date of the next cycle top emerges thanks to a trend line draw down at the top of the indicator based on data from both the previous cycles. Now, here's what he has to share. The next cycle top could occur in October of 2025. And according to the Stochastic Momentum Index of Money Flow Index, in this chart, it shows you Bitcoin soaring to that top at that time in October of 2025, and that top is at $180,000 per Bitcoin. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst. He also mentions that the fundamentals and technicals can be complementary. I think personally, this is extremely conservative. I think a more realistic cycle top for this cycle, considering we have a Bitcoin halving right around the corner, along with the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF with 95% chance of being approved, possibly in January. If not January, then by March, which is the month right before the halving, mixed with the supply shock in the market with very limited Bitcoin. And a lot of long-term hodlers will not depart with their BTC. And there's currently less than 2 million Bitcoin on the exchanges. So when you have the supply shock, the Bitcoin halving, and the spot Bitcoin ETF, all potentially within the same year, I'm saying I think we can see $200,000 to $300,000 as a cycle peak. But I'd love to know your thoughts, fam, in the comments right down below. Now let's break down. Actually, I also want to, we'll dive into that later. Let's now break down breaking news of Ferrari. As you all know, Ferrari is one of the most badass cars in the world. They're now officially accepting Bitcoin payments in the United States. I just got word of this morning. So let's break this down. How many of you would love to own a Ferrari? Let me know in the comments, fam. And if you had to pick Lambo or Rari, what would you go with? Personally, I'd go with the Rari. I think it's more sexy. That's just me. Anyways, Ferrari will accept crypto payments for its luxury sport cars in the United States due to customer demand. So shout out to all the Bitcoiners that were demanding they accept Bitcoin. I think that's a pretty big deal. The car maker also plans to accept crypto payments in Europe. So not only in the US, but also in Europe. That's a good sign. According to an October 14th report from firm Reuters shared today, Ferrari's chief marketing and commercial officer, Enrico, confirmed the intentions of the luxury car brand. Ferrari's choice to accept crypto payments was driven by market demand and dealer requests, with numerous clients, including crypto-savvy young investors, having invested in digital currencies. I bet you they make a killing in crypto payments. I think Tesla should follow suit. What are your thoughts? Do you think Elon is ever going to be accepting Bitcoin for his car payments again, as he once did? Let me know. Now, although he didn't specify the number of cars Ferrari expects to sell via these crypto payments, he reportedly stated that the car maker's strong order portfolio is fully booked until 2025. Get on the waiting list. Ferrari aims to test this expanding market to connect with potential buyers beyond its usual clientele. The luxury automaker plans to introduce crypto payments in Europe by the first quarter of 2024, so coming around the corner, and expand to other crypto-friendly regions thereafter. And for its initial phase in the United States, Ferrari had reportedly partnered with major crypto payment processor BitPay. This collaboration enables the transactions in Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as USDC, which is a stablecoin. Now, the CEO also confirmed there will be no additional fees or surcharges when using crypto. That's the way to do it. They should be incentivized. Give them a 10% discount. If they were to ask me, I'd say, hell yeah, pay with Bitcoin, save 10%. Look how many more cars you're going to sell. Anyways, as BitPay will promptly convert the crypto payments into conventional fiat currency for Ferrari's dealers, ensuring they are shielded from crypto price fluctuations. So they solved that problem. And BitPay will also verify the legitimacy of the digital currency, ensuring it does not originate from illicit activities, money laundering, or tax evasion. How they do that is beyond my comprehension, but hey, it is what it is. Many large corporations have hesitated to adopt cryptos due to their price volatility and associated transaction impracticality. And amongst these companies is Tesla, the electric vehicle manufacturer, which initially started accepting Bitcoin payments in 2021. However, CEO Elon Musk, who receives most of his income from government subsidies, suspended this payment method due to environmental concerns, which you and I and the rest of the world all knows is nothing more than FUD. That's why I lost so much respect for Elon Musk. He knows what's up. He's not a stupid individual. He's done at least 100 hours of research into Bitcoin, if you're to ask me, probably tens of thousands of hours. But meanwhile, he's still continuing to promote an ish coin named after some dog poop, Dogecoin, which makes no sense to me whatsoever, only in my opinion, to mislead the investors, probably because he's getting paid from the government to do so. But that's my 2 Satoshis. Let me know how you feel about Elon in the comments below. And do you think he'll ever accept Bitcoin payments again for Tesla? That's why I used to have a lot of respect for Tesla. I think it's the best car out there. And once he stopped accepting payments and blamed it on the ESG FUD and says Bitcoin is creating, harmful activity in the environment, I lost all respect for him. I just couldn't look at him the same ever again. But that's just me. I remember Elon, in regards to Elon, Max and Stacy went on a tour called the F Elon Tour. Go figure why. They knew Elon was an enemy of Bitcoin. So I'd love to know your perspective. Do you feel he is still an enemy of Bitcoin? Why do you think he still hasn't turned around and started accepting Bitcoin payments for Tesla, even though it has been confirmed that Bitcoin is safe and friendly for the environment, and the ESG was nothing more than FUD coming from the mainstream media, and at one point even BlackRock, the World Economic Forum, yada, 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 and the list goes on. Anyways, fam, now let's dive into the latest bombshells coming from the trial with Sam Bankman-Fried. A couple weeks back, Gary Wang was testifying against him, the old executive of the company. Then we had Caroline Ellison last week, and she dropped so many bombshells. I actually want to jump into this before we get into some Bitcoin ETF information you're going to want to stick around for. Check it out, a 75-minute secretly recorded audio clip. How many of you heard this? It's surfacing all across X as of yesterday. I saw it going all around. So let me know. Caroline Ellison revealed the exact moment 15 former Alameda research staff found the trading firm was borrowing, aka stealing, user funds from FTX. I mean, you can say borrowing, but that's stealing if you don't have their consent. Is it not? Let me know your thoughts, fam. The full-length recording obtained by Cointelegraph provides fresh insights into the palpable tension Ellison and Alameda staff felt in the lead-up to the FTX collapse. Quoting them here, Alameda was kind of borrowing a bunch of money via open term loans and using that to make various illiquid investments. So like a bunch of FTX and FTX US equity, most of Alameda's loans got called in order to meet those recalls, Ellison explained during the all hands meeting in Hong Kong, November 9th, 2022. This is days before the collapse, fam. Quoting her again, we ended up borrowing a bunch of funds from FTX, which led to FTX having a shortfall in user funds. Exactly. Only again, that's not borrowing, it's stealing. FTX basically allowed Alameda to borrow users' funds, she added, speaking to the 15 or so staff in the meeting. Select segments of the audio recording of the meeting were also played before the court on the 8th day of SBF's criminal trial, October 12th, 2 days ago, that was Friday, which was a part of the witness testimony from Christian Drapi, a former software engineer at Alameda Research. Drapi's appearance on the witness stand came immediately following nearly 3 days of Ellison's testimony. It is understood that before the meeting, Drapi and many other Alameda employees had no idea that the hedge fund had allegedly been using FTX customer deposits to prop up its trading activity. In the recording, Drapi is also overheard asking Ellison when she became aware that Alameda was misusing FTX user deposits and who else at the company had known about it. Now, initially, Ellison shied away from answering, but Drapi pressed again. Quoting him here, I'm sure this wasn't like a yellow thing, right? And according to the court reporting from the trial, the playback of this audio led to one more humorous moment in court where Drapi had to explain the term YOLO, you only live once, to everyone in attendance, saying that he wanted Ellison to confirm that the use of FTX deposits hadn't been a spontaneous decision. In the testimony, Drapi also described Ellison's conduct at the meeting as sunken and didn't display much in the way of confidence to Alameda employees. He said that he was stunned to learn about the extent of the relationship between FTX and Alameda and quit the next day. And speaking of Cointelegraph, Alameda research engineer Adacha, who was also present at the meeting, said the room was extremely tense. I can only imagine. Now, with Ellison servicing a wealth of new info that has never been discussed internally, including the later abandoned acquisition of FTX by its then largest competitor, Binance. Quoting them here, it became very clear there was no future for the company and that we all had to leave, and we did that right after. So there you have it. I mean, bombshell after bombshell. The other bombshell I shared previous episode was they were colluding, the FTX, I guess, Sam Bankman-Fried, whoever his puppet masters were, they were suppressing the Bitcoin price action with the goal to keep the Bitcoin price suppressed at under $20,000. How did they do that? Here's what that looked like. You, as a customer, along with millions of other customers around the world, upload your precious Bitcoin to their FTX crypto exchange. They immediately offload it to Alameda Research, and then they borrow, aka steal your Bitcoin and dump it onto the open market, aka suppressing the price. Now, we all know the SEC is obviously wanting to suppress the Bitcoin price action as well. If you look at the actions of Gary Gensler and why they've been repeatedly denying and stalling when it comes to a spot Bitcoin ETF. Spot Bitcoin ETF equals true price discovery with no manipulation. So clearly, I believe SBF and Gary Gensler of the SEC had the same goal, suppress the Bitcoin price action. Hence, they were working together, having numerous conversations behind closed doors. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in one of those conversations. I can only imagine what they were speaking about. But let me know your thoughts. Do you feel that the SEC and their regulators, the chairman, Gary, and SBF were colluding to suppress the Bitcoin price action? Let me know your honest thoughts, because it seems to be that way. If I was a betting man, I'd say some shadiness was absolutely going on, you know what I mean? Beyond your imagination. And with that being shared, fam, now let's discuss some breaking news. Bitcoin ETF versus the SEC. They did not appeal the decision, which is a great sign to all Bitcoiners. So congratulations, fam. That means a Bitcoin spot ETF is incoming. It's inevitable, but the million-dollar question comes, when, right? Well, let's discuss it. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission reportedly has no plans to appeal the recent court decision that favored Grayscale Investments. The ruling requires the SEC to review the firm's spot Bitcoin ETF application. Quoting Eric Balchunas, who is the virtually the head expert over at Bloomberg when it comes to ETFs. He wrote, Benzinga and others reporting that Reuters is reporting the SEC will not be appealing the Grayscale case. Again, this is fantastic news. The SEC's supposed decision to not appeal the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit ruling was highlighted in an October 13th report from Reuters, which cited a source familiar with the matter. Now, Bloomberg analysts also expect the SEC not to appeal the Supreme Court, but emphasize this doesn't necessarily mean Grayscale's application is set to be approved. If the reports are true, the SEC will need to follow the court's August order and review the Grayscale app to change its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into a spot Bitcoin ETF. And according to Reuters, the appeals court is expected to issue a mandate specifically outlining how its ruling should be executed by the SEC. And commenting on the developments, Bloomberg ETF analyst James Seyfarth stated the following on X: "I do not think they will appeal to the Supreme Court either. Dialogue between Grayscale and the SEC should begin next week, hoping for more info on the next steps sometime next week or the week after." And reading his tweet here on X, number one, done deal, I guess, if this is accurate, no ink bonk application. Number two, no, I don't think they'll appeal to the Supreme Court either. And then mentioning the dialogue between Grayscale and the SEC should begin sometime next week. So moving forward, Seyfarth suggests that it is likely we will find out in the next week or two what the deadline is for the SEC to approve or deny the Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF application. So if the SEC were to deny the application, Grayscale could then appeal that decision, dragging the process out even longer. And around 7 spot Bitcoin ETF applications have been put before the SEC and are currently awaiting a decision from the regulator. So no clarity, Gary. Come on, dog. Let's go. And in a separate proceeding post on October 13th, Seyfarth reiterated his view that there is a 90% chance that a spot Bitcoin ETF application will get the approval in January 2024. That gives you just a few more months to start stacking, front running all these major institutions, fam. Specifically, the application from Cathie Wood's Ark Invest. And at the end of the show, stay tuned. We're going to be diving deep into the latest from Cathie Wood. She was just recently interviewed. Great stuff. And I transcribed it all for you to deliver the goods. Now, Seyfarth also, shared some more good insights here. If you're not following him, be sure to do so. Seyfarth and Bloomberg senior ETF analyst Eric Balchunas previously suggested a 75% chance the app will get approval in 2023. So it's not looking like we're going to get any Bitcoin ETF in 2023, but potentially it can happen in January of 2024. And if not January, the next deadline may be March. Again, approximately 1 month before the Bitcoin ETF. I mean, I can't wait personally. I think this is one of the most bullish catalysts in the crypto market right now. And as the Bitcoin therapist shared, there is major institutional demand for this spot Bitcoin ETF. Preach. Trillions of dollars are waiting on the sidelines to get exposure to the king, BTC. Let's check it out. Their total assets under management: BlackRock, 9.4 trillion. Fidelity, 4.5 trillion. Invesco, 1.5 trillion. Franklin Templeton, 1.4 trillion. Wisdom Tree, 94 bill. Van Eck, 78 bill. Global X, 45 bill. Ark Invest, 14 bill. Valkyrie, 1 bill. Bitwise, 1 bill. That's a grand total of $17 trillion. And also, let's keep in mind, Grayscale currently holds 623,310 BTC, worth $15.6 billion, making them the largest hodler of Bitcoin in the world. So do you know what this means? We get that approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. They can convert the Grayscale GBTC product into the spot ETF. They're already holding the underlying assets. So there is no reason for Gary and the SEC to continue denying it. It's just going to make them look stupid and show how criminal they have been behaving, in my humble opinion. But let me know how you feel, fam. When do you feel the deadline will be? And do you think it will likely get approved before the April 2024 Bitcoin halving? Let me know your honest thoughts. And like I said at the end of the show, I can read everyone's comments out loud. Now, let's break down an all-time high Bitcoin target according to this technical chart, which is actually a very interesting indicator, and that would be in October of 2025. So here we go. Before we dive into the latest from Cathie Wood and her $1 million price prediction and how she arrived at the math, a closely followed crypto strategist says that it is only a matter of time before Bitcoin revisits the all-time high. Synonymous analyst Altcoin Sherpa shares with his followers on X the Bitcoin will eventually soar and work its way back up to the all-time high at around $69,000. Don't get lost in the lower time frame charts and all of this noise. Bitcoin to all-time high is inevitable, so don't fight it. Now we know Bitcoin trading just shy of 27,000 at this time, so an increase towards its all-time high of 69,000 represents roughly a 150% jump. Now next up, the trader says that blockchain oracle Chainlink has remained in accumulation range for more than 500 days, but predicts Link will eventually break out. Quoting him here, Link, 500 plus days in accumulation and chop. This will fly one day. I think the best way to play this for most investors is to, number one, dollar cost average from $5 to $7. Number two, sit on this for as long as it takes and wait for the breakout of the range. And number three, first bids could be $6.80-ish. Now, lastly, the trader says that the Ethereum competitor Avalanche, better known as AVAX, is likely to increase by more than 14% from the current value in the midterm. Here's what he shares. AVAX, I think this is a buy the dip situation. Number one, the stars arena are coming back up. Hack money restored. Number two, the logical support resistance area. This is close to the point of origin. And number three, expecting to get above $10 again in the midterm. And looking at this AVAX chart, the trader seems to believe that AVAX will meet with resistance at the $9.79 level, dip slightly, and then rally to $10.50. And like I mentioned earlier, Titans of crypto is, excuse me, let me get some water. Appreciate it. Titans of crypto is predicting the next top October of 2025, as I shared in this chart, at $180,000 per BTC. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of these crypto analysts. And before we dive into the latest from Cathie Wood, her most recent interview she did with Natalie Brunell on the Coin Stories pod, which I transcribed for you this morning, never shared before, so I doubt you have even heard it unless you already listened to it on Natalie's podcast. But anyways, first, I want to give massive shout outs to everyone in the live chat because I appreciate you guys. Mick Lovin, what it do? Abel Gonzalez, what's up? $0 G Row. Willy Wonka, was it easy to figure out? I was thinking of getting one, but I heard they were slightly advanced in comparison to the Trezor. Is that like which wallet you comparing the Trezor to? Is it a wallet called Willy Wonka? Because I don't know who you're referring to. Yeah, don't choke on the news, fam. Learn from my experience. Got to get those fluids in. Thank you, Tim Crypto. Appreciate it. I go 1,000,000 miles per minute, so sometimes I got to like take a breath. Appreciate it, guys. Fried cash, whatever happened to Mt. Gox? That's right, the Bitcoin from Mt. Gox, there's going to be a sell-off eventually, but they're still holding on to it, meaning the United States government is still a large hodler of BTC. It is what it is. There you go. Willy Wonka OG said, I am scared to transfer my Bitcoin. Where are you scared to transfer it from? Here's some advice. Whenever you're going to transfer cryptocurrency, the smartest way to do it, especially if you're a newbie, only transfer a tiny amount. The cool thing about crypto, you don't need to send the full balance. You can send $1. You can send 20 cents, whatever it is. So hypothetical, let's hypothetically say your Bitcoin right now is sitting on the Coinbase exchange and you're like, damn, I don't want it on a centralized exchange. I want it in a cold storage wallet, such as my Trezor. So it's safe. You know what I mean? And in order to do that, send a test transaction, set up your Trezor, take some time to learn it. Pretty simple to figure out. There's video tutorials directly from Trezor you can watch on YouTube. And as soon as you got it, send the test transaction. And if it works, right? If the test works, then bada boom, bada bing, you can send the rest. But don't just, I've seen people do it. They'll like buy a full Bitcoin, hypothetically say Bitcoin's 20,000 right now. And then, they send it somewhere, they make a mistake, it's gone forever. There's no recovering your crypto if you make that mistake. That's why I always stress a test transaction. Don't ever send large amounts of crypto without first testing that wallet, unless you're advanced and you just have the confidence to do so, because I'd hate to hear anyone make one of those mistakes that can cost you a tremendous amount of money. You know what I mean? Ben Silva, preach. Welcome, Ben. What's good, fam? Appreciate you tuning in. Waterboy. Yeah, I need a Waterboy. For real, for real. Any word on Shiba Inu? I haven't seen any new news on it. I know it's an ish coin. I don't really cover ish coins here on the show. It's a meme coin. It's like the second coming of Doge, I guess. I have no clue. I know nothing about it personally. I know we do have some Shiba Inu hodlers in the building, including some people who mined it back in the early days as well. So it'll be interesting. THC 20. Whoa, what is that? THC20. Are we talking about cannabis or are we talking about crypto or a combination of the two? November 23rd ETF before Thanksgiving gets approved, says Abel Gonzalez. That would be freaking incredible if we're referring to this year like next month, right? That's another scenario we have to consider. Expect the unexpected. What if everyone anticipates, okay, the ETF will not get approved till January or March, and then we get the approval next month, takes everyone by surprise, everyone sitting on the sidelines, they miss out because they're no longer in the game because they decided to wait. You know what I mean? So you never know what's going to occur. If everyone's anticipating it at a certain date, it's probably not going to happen at that particular date. That's just the nature of crypto based on my experience, fam. So yeah. It is what it is, guys. Gary is a clown. Preach. Fire Gary Gensler. What kind of chairman is he? I'm hungover. It's one Bitcoin. Can't fix. Water can fix that, though, thank God. Yeah, water is the way to go. Good quality H2O. And with that being shared, fam, now let's dive into our breaking story of the day. Cathie Wood of Ark Invest was recently interviewed by Natalie Brunell on the Coin Stories podcast, and she breaks down the math specifically on how she arrived at her $1 million plus Bitcoin price action by the year 2030. So let's break this baby down, shall we? A massive shout out to everyone today in the live chat. Now, I transcribed this myself, which I am so proud of. Meaning you've probably never heard this. You absolutely never heard it coming from my mouth. So check it out. I made this post on X this morning. New Cathie Wood transcript from the interview with Natalie Brunell on how Ark Invest reached their Bitcoin price predictions. So Natalie says, I really want to hit that $1 million price prediction by 2030. How many of you can relate to Natalie and would love to see that $1 million price action for the King Crypto by 2030? 7 years out, let me know. And she goes on to say, the bear case for Ark Invest is $258,000 per Bitcoin. The base case for Ark Invest is $682,000 per Bitcoin, and the bull case is $1.48 million per BTC as your price target. Can you talk to me a little bit about how your team reached this conclusion? Because folks think they are late, but this shows the compounded growth rate every single year and that they are very, very early, and this has a huge asymmetrical potential. Now listen up, Cathie Wood responded, yes. If you look at the little table on that page, you'll see the building blocks and how conservative they are. I think now this is from memory, and sometimes I get one big idea and another mixed up, but I think the institutional allocation to Bitcoin in the base case, I know at one point we said 2.5%. That may have gone down a little, but if we are right, that assumption alone, I have been in the markets for a long time. And as a new asset class evolves, what institutions do in particular is they tiptoe in. They start with 1%, and then they migrate to 2%, and then they migrate to 5%. So I think in this one, it's 2.5% for the base case. When there is a new asset class, it tends to end up in the 5 to 6% range. This happened to real estate. It happened to private equity venture capital, which is now much more than 6% in many institutional funds. It happened to the whole category of emerging markets. And so I think it is that one alone, it's very conservative. And if you look at the other one, the corporate balance sheets of Tesla, Square, they have Bitcoin on the balance sheets, but we make very, very cautious assumptions. And I think the corporate treasury assumption is 2.5% of all cash and cash equivalents in Bitcoin. And the bull case is 5%. So you can see how conservative even the bull case is, right, fam? If we are right and the purchasing power of Bitcoin becomes so obvious in the years ahead, meaning the purchasing power goes up instead of cash dollars staying pretty flat, it is not in real terms deteriorating, then more and more corporate treasuries are going to be putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Preach. And in fact, the analysts will start questioning them. Why do you have 95% of your cash in a depreciating asset when you could put all of it into a cash equivalent like Bitcoin and have an appreciating asset? She makes a great point. Remittances is another very big market. We assume 10% of remittances in the base case and 25% instantaneous, no fees or minimal fees compared to 8% fees as migrants send back to to their home countries. Sovereign treasuries, only 1% in the base case, 5% in the bull. Just like corporate treasuries, they'll be under pressure to start increasing their exposure to Bitcoin. Emerging markets, not just the state treasuries, but all of the populations who are subject to these swings in their currencies and absolute demolition of their wealth when they go through hyperinflations. We assume 3% of the populations in the emerging markets, 3% of their assets in the base case go to Bitcoin, and 10% in the bull. So those are some of the cases. And then there is the very other utility economic settlement network case, and that's 5% of all settlements in the base case and 10% in the bull case. So what that gives you is a sense of how we have built those two estimates, and those are pretty conservative assumptions, we would suggest. So there you have it. I also like to point out that if you did not know, roughly 8 years ago today, Ark Invest became the first US ETF to invest in Bitcoin back when Bitcoin was only trading between $200 and $300 per coin, which ultimately means that Cathie Wood and Ark Invest is up over 12,000% already on her Bitcoin investment. So talk about being ahead of the curve. Also like to point out they're on the list of getting their 21 shares Bitcoin ETF being approved as well, alongside BlackRock, Fidelity, and the rest of the massive behemoths in the financial space. So obviously, I take great credibility off of what she is sharing. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think the Bitcoin bull case can really hit $1.48 million per coin by the year 2030? What do you think about her bear case and her base case? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. Massive shout out to everyone in this live chat. Let's do our live Q&A session as we do each and every day. Cushy, what up? Squirrel bait. It doesn't have to be approved at a deadline though. You're right. They can keep pushing this baby back 100%. So who knows what's to come out of this? McLovin, I only started buying Bitcoin at the end of 2022. Everyone's journey is unique. Preach. Shiba is the Doge killer, says Dankness. They actually have a use case. The decentralized exchange, better known as DEX. Good to note, because I don't even know. What up, JV, says K-Jam. Tuning in from South Cali. California love. What's up? Did you see the video from Bitcoin Amsterdam on the release of the Trezor 3 next month? I missed that. What does it look like? Clue me in, fam. That sounds pretty interesting. If so, what do you think of it? I haven't seen it yet, but I'm interested to check it out. Hopefully they can send it to me and I can test it out. That'd be great. I wish I learned to pay myself before every else earlier in life. Only started learning finances a year and a half ago. Only got up to 1/4 of a Bitcoin thus far, but I'm glad I found it early, even though squirrel bait, it may feel late, but do you realize how early you are? You just gotta zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. $500 billion market cap is literally nothing. You know what I mean? There's a total addressable market north of $700 trillion. You had the opportunity. God bless you for taking advantage of it to front run these major institutions. Each and every one of you watching this show is in that same boat. So don't just continue sitting on the sidelines, everyone. Get in the game and get your position, because there is no telling how long Bitcoin will stay at under $30,000, right? We may jump right on up with a God candle just like that, snap back above 50,000, then game on. That's when the institutional FOMO will kick in like a mofo, and you already know what's good, right? Previous cycle, we didn't even have the institutional FOMO, and we still went to 69,000. And rumor has it, if Scam Bankman-Fried wasn't offloading your Bitcoin to suppress the price at under $20,000, we could have went up to 100,000 instead of just stopping at 69,000. That was around the time that FTX collapsed. You know what I mean? Right around the time they announced bankruptcy, it was around the time of the high for the cycle, which is interesting. You know what I mean? So who knows how high we could have climbed? And I also am a firm believer, if we already had the Bitcoin ETF, Bitcoin would already be at, price discovery mode, meaning a new all-time high, and we wouldn't be trapped at under 30,000, which is where we're currently at. And I believe that 32,000 is the current annual high. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that just means a great opportunity to seize the moment. It is that Stacking Saturday. It's beautiful as we enter, 2024 in just a few months. This is your final opportunity. This is the last call to hop on the train. Would you rather buy Bitcoin at under 30,000 or above 70? Because those are your options right now. You know what I mean? So I truly do believe that, fam. Shout out to Squirrel Bait. Keep stacking them sats and congratulations. Where are my long-term hodlers at? Make some noise. If someone just started buying Bitcoin today, they are still early, in my opinion. 100%, we are early. I YOLO'd my mortgage into Bitcoin during COVID panic. Bitcoin was around 6,000 at that time. Well done, Cushy. Smart move. Anyone who jumped on Bitcoin after that crash, I think Bitcoin may even hit as low as 3,500 after the COVID crash. Every single market was collapsing. But then we soared from 2020 to 2021. We went, under 4,000 after COVID to 69,000. And in fact, in 2021, there was a time within 60 days, we went from 16,000. 60 days later, $69,000. And everyone wrote off Bitcoin saying it's not going to surpass the previous all-time high of 20,000. Yeah, right. Who got the last laugh? The Bitcoin hodlers. You know what I mean? Every single Bitcoin hodler that has been hodling Bitcoin for 4 years or longer is in the green. So what does that tell you? Patience. Stack sats, dollar cost average, and chill the frick out. And if you can do that, you'll also be in the green. You know what I mean? And you'll be here 10 years from now. There'll be a new person coming in saying, Bitcoin seems expensive at $1 million per coin. And then we'll be saying, yo, the total addressable market's now like, what's after a trillion? Is it quadrillion? It's like quadrillions of dollars. They just keep printing money. You know what I mean? We'll be saying you're early in 10 years because, again, zoom out, long-term perspective, you got to look at things a lot differently. You know what I mean? Let me know if that makes sense, fam. If someone, 100%. God candles are the best source of FOMO, but the slow and steady pace usually sticks. Yes, right. They say slow and steady wins the race, right? Go Turtles, or Honey Badgers in this case. What up, JV? What up, Monty W? What it do, Monty? Welcome, welcome. Relaxing, Cushy Cush. Appreciate you guys. Felix, Hodl King, good day to JV and the fam. Appreciate you. Hope to make it home for the live stream. You made it, Fairgrounds. Shout out to Cornwall, England, UK in the building. Where my Euro fam at? Light it up, baby. That's right. Always. And we back to 4 o'clock. You realize that? Tomorrow will be 4 o'clock as well. We're going to try to stick to the schedule best as we can. Good evening, Paul. JV, good morning from Australia. Shout out to Glenn T. Appreciate you guys. Good afternoon from Clearwater. Smashing that like. What's up, plebers? Let's get it. SEC is not appealing. Grayscale is huge. That's right. It's ultimately a big fat L for Mr. Gensler, Mr. No Claire Gare, the Care Bear, who don't care and is seeking his fair share from SBF. And Caroline Ellison, gold up today a lot. Oh, really? That's interesting. I guess people lost all faith in the dollar. That's what that tells me. When Bitcoin pops, it's really going to pop. Good afternoon. Good morning. Crypto News Alerts fam. Let's go, Mikey. Send it. Solar eclipse was rad. When was that? Was that last night? 100% SMI. MFI, mofos, yes. Watched the eclipse today, about 85% total from Arizona. Had the neighbors out chatting. Pretty cool. Good stuff. Will Stopson versus Guru. Good morning, JV. Good morning, fam. Appreciate you tuning in, supporting the show. Much love, much respect. Yes, not Lambo. Okay, we got Raris. Fairground says both. Yeah, you may need one of each. You know what I mean? Especially if Bitcoin's at Cathie Wood's target by 2030. Why not? Zero says Bugatti. Shout out to the top G. How many Bugattis does that guy own now? Ferrari, says Hodl King. I love those Raris. Porsche, let's go accept Bitcoin. I love Porsche myself. My prior car was a Porsche before moving out here to Puerto Rico, and I think I sold it for some Bitcoin. Smart move. That was a good move. Anyways, Bitcoin is uniting the world. Let's go. You already know Japo. Bitcoin represents peace and freedom. Fiat represents war and violence. And we're seeing that war and violence playing out in real time. Just look, you know what I mean? Catastrophes all over the world. I mean, you can't go on X right now without seeing dead bodies. And it's saddening, to say the least. I can't even give my daughter my phone to go on social media. She's just going to see war and people dying, right? There's no escaping it because everyone has a cell phone. They're pulling out, taking videos. What up, JV? Tuning in from South Cali. Appreciate it, K-Jam. What it do? BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF will receive approval by January 2024 before Ark January's deadline. Well, I hope you're right. I would love to see it before the halving because it's going to make the halving that much more impactful and that much more bullish, in my humble opinion, where we could see a double blow off top and a multiple six-figure Bitcoin price. Meaning, I'm not settling for 180,000 as outlined there. I think we'll hit 280,000, potentially 380,000. Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. The more you print that fiat crap, the more bullish Bitcoiners will be. The more long-term hodlers with diamond hands there will become. Basic math. You know what I mean? What are the other alternatives? Is Kia accepting Bitcoin? I'm a humble Bitcoiner. A nice Lexus would be my choice. Word up. Toyota, Lexus, good car. I'd have both, says Fairground. Tesla will accept Bitcoin. It makes sense. They should, but the fact they're not tells me Elon is an enemy of Bitcoin. I truly feel that way. Anyone here disagree? Bitcoin, is Elon an enemy of Bitcoin or a friend of Bitcoin? You let me know. I think the answer couldn't be any more clear. We are going to have stories in 10 years like the Pizza Man. That's right, the Pizza Man, the Papa John's Pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin, now worth probably north of $500 million. The Ferrari Enzo can only be bought if you own 3 other Ferraris. And when you die, it automatically goes back to Ferrari. Good Lord. So you don't actually own it. I didn't know that. That's freaking crazy. But it wants me to own a Ferrari Enzo that much more, keeping it real with you. It must be that scarcity. I'm attracted to scarcity. Can you check out BAB? It's an FCA registered crypto company in the UK, one of less than 50. Its token is BAX. Interesting. Thanks for sharing, Big Sure. It's launching the FCA registered Layer 1 blockchain called Regulated Decentralized Finance. I believe it has huge potential. Take a look. Appreciate you bringing it to my radar. Elon seems to be a bit of a I call him a fugazi. You say fox. Maybe. I think he is a secret ally. Interesting. You can buy Teslas and accessories with Doge right now only, for now. I mean, who is really using Dogecoin to buy a car? I don't know. How many people became millionaires from Doge? Probably a lot, but nothing in comparison to Bitcoin that has been around for 14 frickin' years and has appreciated 69 million frickin' percent. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's been a few people who use Dogecoin to buy something from Tesla, but how many people are actively on a daily basis using Doge to buy cars? Nobody, especially in a bear market. It'd be insanity. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm never cashing out my Cold Wallet Bitcoin. I rolled all of my alts into the DeFi yield. Next run should let me live off of my ETH yield while I'll hodl forever. Word up, Cushy. Wishing you the best, fam. Yeah. Hopefully he adopts ETH too. I mean, why wouldn't you accept all major cryptocurrencies? The technologies already exist where you can convert it in real time, so you don't need to worry about the volatility of the crypto, just as Ferrari CEO pointed out earlier in our story. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can use Strike, you can use OpenNode. There's a lot of solutions for that now. And yes, unless something has changed, he's definitely launching a trading and better streaming platform mid-2024, says Zero. You should try to contact British Hodler for an interview. He's a super Bitcoin maxi. Shout out to British Hodler. I had a little conversation with him on X a little earlier. I'm a huge fan. I think he's doing a fantastic job, and that'd be a great idea. At least that's what my brother says. He works for X. Oh, interesting. 100% diamond hands forever on my BTC. Word up. That's what's up. McLovin. I see him making nice exchange. Okay. What's also on a secret document, or that's also on a secret doc? What can the average pleb do to get Bitcoin as tender at your local grocery store? Hodl. Hodl be thy name. It was written in the Bible, fam. Genesis. I'm just making that part up, but you know the point. Yeah, imagine how high it would have been without FTX. Exactly my point. What do you guys truly think? I think obviously the enemies of Bitcoin collude together to suppress it. And again, I think enemies of Bitcoin are very clear. I think Elon's an enemy of Bitcoin, Warren Buffett, all the wealthy fiat mofos are typically enemies of Bitcoin because they're working with the government. There's a reason they own all of this money. The government can take away all your money like that. They can freeze your bank accounts, your assets, wherever you store your wealth. You know what I mean? What did Elon testify in front of Congress? He said something along the lines, correct me if I'm wrong, I played the audio yesterday in our JV React session over on Rumble, and he said something along the lines, the SEC made me lie because if I didn't lie, they would have took everything from Tesla and took everything from me. And it was like they put a gun to my baby's head. Those are paraphrasing his own words. So, Interesting, right? And as Max Kaiser points out, Elon's wealth comes from government subsidies. And you start connecting SpaceX and start realizing what's really going on behind closed doors. These are the things we talk about over on Rumble, because I don't think I can talk about them on this platform without getting, you know what I mean? So yeah, after this session, we'll be over on Rumble and we'll be uncensored, live Q&A. If you're not already following me on Rumble, you know what to do. Go to Rumble, check out Crypto News Alerts, and let's talk live and uncensored as we do every day. And you can also join us for the JV React session, which you're not going to want to miss. I'm telling you, it's going to be lit like a mofo. Gary might be in some trouble. Gary, you got splaining to do. And my Ricky Ricardo impersonation. Legally, I mean, where's smoke, there is fire. That's right. Congress is lighting his ass up as well. Didn't Bitcoin hit 30,000 like the day before? No, we didn't hit 30,000 the day before. But a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, time flies, I don't know how long ago, but we did hit almost 32,000. That was the annual high. Then we corrected back under 30,000, hitting maybe 24-ish. And then we've been rising since then. What up, Jeff? What it do? Oh, just got the Tangent wallet. What are your thoughts? I'm not familiar with it. Tell Tangent to send me one and I'll demo it. You live at Puerto Rico? Me too. Shout out to Joseph Ang. Yeah, I relocated to Puerto Rico with my fam back in 2018. Originally from Florida. I've lived all over the world, from Costa Rica. Spent years there. Love Central America. Not too far from, what's it called? El Salvador, Bitcoin country. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right. Below Costa Rica is Panama, and north is Nicaragua. I lived in North Costa Rica, so we used to do our visa runs in Nicaragua. I haven't been to El Salvador. I'm looking forward to going. So yeah, anyways, I moved to Puerto Rico. I love it here. Been here since 2018, so this is like my 5th year. There's a lot of incentives to be here. I talk about that a lot over on Rumble, some of the more reasons why, you know. But what brought you or attracted you to Puerto Rico, Joseph? Are you originally from the island? Or what attracted you? Let me know. Would love to know. Cool, yeah, I just transferred my Solana and some XRP as a test, no problems. But now I try to send more XRP and has a hold for 72 hours. Damn it, Coinbase. Yeah, that's alarming. I don't like when crypto exchanges put holds on your crypto and you can't send it anywhere. That sucks. Gary is about to be booted. I hope so, but they're just going to replace him with another suit. Jay Clayton, was he any better than Gary? No. Clayton didn't allow any spot ETFs either, only futures. And then he also, the last day on the job as chairman of the SEC, Clayton had the balls to launch that unlawful lawsuit against XRP, deeming it an unregistered security. It suppresses the price action from 2020 all the way up to just recently in 2023, as the SEC took the L and, you know, they got the partial victory. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, expect another suit with the same agenda, because the people who print the money are the same people who control these organizations. Just saying. Whatever happened to Mt. Gox? Yeah, we're paying attention to that. Once they are starting to dump, we'll keep you in the loop. What up, Coin Father? What it do? Good to see you, fam. I can't wait to put wires in my head. What are you talking about? Are you referring to Elon with the technology, with the brain implant? I forget the name of it. Hobby, come to Dubai. Ooh, Dubai sounds amazing right now. Middle East. All that oil money. What's going to happen to Bitcoin when all that oil money from the Middle East, that Saudi money, starts entering Bitcoin, right? There's people with, I mean, it's mind-boggling how much wealth is out there, and they can purchase extreme amounts of Bitcoin. We're not even considering that when we're doing these price predictions and stuff like that. We have an entire world, and as the game theory continues and more nations start adopting it as a legal tender, more rich, oil money conglomerates need to park their capital somewhere, and it doesn't make sense to put it in gold because it's manipulated. Doesn't make sense to put it in the banks. Doesn't make sense to put it in these junk bonds. What are your choices? Bitcoin, the only money with a finite limited supply, hence why it's perfect money. It's decentralized, it's incorruptible, it's unconfiscatable, you know what I mean? And it's borderless. You can travel with it. There can be a war in your country, and you could leave your country, and you can have your passphrase from your treasure remembered in your psyche, and no one can confiscate it. There's no way. So with gold or fiat money, not only can it be confiscated by your own government, they can then use it against you, and they can use it for war, right? Because if they confiscate your wealth via gold or dollars, yeah, they can just buy guns and bomb a country. They can't do anything from your crypto because they can't take it from you unless you voluntarily give them your private keys, or you're dumb enough to write it down, like, and put it on your desk. You know what I mean? And then like, oh, we got his private keys. Done deal. You know what I mean? So be smart out there, fam. Bring facts, patiently awaiting Bitcoin to be older than 18 so the politicians will quit trying to screw it. Oh, that was a good one. I got to repeat that. Awaiting Bitcoin to be older than 18 so the politicians will quit trying to screw it. Preach. I love that. Yeah. Wouldn't trust Charles Hoskinson with my lunch money, says Absolute Fraudster. And your profile picture, it almost looks like a picture of Charles Hoskinson. I can't see because it's so itty bitty. That's hilarious. Neuralink, that's it. Never put nothing in your brain. If you're stupid enough to put technology in your brain, you deserve what's coming to you. Just saying. Unless you're a paraplegic, you have zero movement, and it's your only hope to be able to move your arm again, different story. Just saying. No thanks, says Chris. Preach, or get waterboarded for your keys. Yikes. Mike Simpson, what it do? The founder of EA Sports, known as Trip Hawkins, has created a gambling studio called Gains for a living ticker symbol. Interesting. This must have for the bull run. Okay. What an hilarious when Mr. Beast had his keys next to yeah, that's what it reminded me of. Mr. Beast got his house broken into, and he thought for sure the thieves stole his Bitcoin because he had his laptop open, and right next to his laptop was a sheet of paper with his private keys, and it said, "My private Bitcoin keys." But the hacker was that stupid and was more focused on clothing and blankets than actually stealing the laptop and the private keys. And Mr. Beast got his cryptocurrency. It didn't get stolen. Crazy story, right? People that thought Bitcoin, take out the dollar bill, then ask them what it's backed by. Their face will be priceless. Word up. We all know US dollar is backed by military and guns. That's about it. And check it out. BRICS around the world, they're ushering in the de-dollarization. No one wants any part to do with the dollar anymore. I think its expiry is coming, and fast. The death of the dollar. Laser Ray, what up, what up? Anyways, fam, we're going to continue with the after party over on Rumble. You already know we're live every day, not only on YouTube, but we stream simultaneously on Rumble because it's uncensored, and I love their community because I can speak openly and I don't have to watch what I say. Also, I can use adult language and all that fun stuff as well. And we're going to be doing a JV React session, so head on over to Rumble. Right now, you see the link already pinned in the live chat, or just go to Rumble and type in Crypto News Alerts. You'll find me. It's a live stream. It's already live, and I will see you all there. Deuces, YouTube. See you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm out. All right. That was a lit YouTube.